Right, so now we're going to move on to removing and replacing the radiator. The first thing we're going to do is drain the coolant through the bottom hose on the radiator, which you should be able to see down there. Or two rusty ass bits. There's a smaller hose. As you can see, this is loose already. We disconnected pipes up here, disconnected all that. Loose. We undid these clamps that held it down. I'm now gonna, hold up. I need to disconnect that plug there. Here's the plug. Should just, yeah, nice easy disconnect there. There we go. Right, here it is then. The radiator's out. I do need to see if this fan works as well, but I'll probably do that later. But because of this damage at the top here from the previous owner, we are just going to replace it just to make sure that it stays good working for a long time. So yeah, now we just got to wait for the new radiator, fit that back in there. Something I will need to do, a big issue, is these rad mounts down at the bottom. One there and one there. We will need to replace these because, as you can see, they're rusted away. I'm going to do that by angle grinding them off, making new brackets, and then welding the brackets back on, which is going to be a big job. I'm probably going to do that myself just so I can lock in and get that done, because that's a big job. There's going to be a lot of going back and forth between jobs on that. But yeah, there we have it. So I'm probably going to catch up with you guys when we get the new radiator, we install it in. Hopefully I'll get them done, and then I'll update you after we've got the new brackets in there to hold the radiator. So we're now going to try and sort out these rad mounts there and there. And so to do that, we're going to go under the car, make a new bracket for these radiator mounts, and bolt it to this piece of chassis. Ideally, I would like to replace the bracket and weld a new one back on there, as I've mentioned before. However, I do not have the skills or the equipment to do that. So I feel the next and most strongest way of reattaching these radiator mounts would be to bolt it to the chassis. The first thing I did to create these rad mount brackets was make a cardboard template, so I could get the right shape, and I could also know where the bolt holes are meant to go on the chassis. And then I got some old box section, hammered it into shape so I could make these rad mount brackets to fit in the right place and have the right strength to hold the radiator in place. I then also got somebody to do the welding for me with these washers so we could get the perfect size hole to fit the bushes for the rad mount in. They are now ground off, as you can see, so it's time to fit in the new ones. There we go, we've got the rad mount brackets in place now with the new bushes, so it's time to fit the radiator. So before I installed the radiator, I repaired the clutch pedal because it was much easier to access the slave cylinder to bleed the clutch system when the radiator was out of the way. So then, I've just taken out the old master cylinder from the Celica, and as you can see, there's no pressure in the master cylinder. So I brought a new one, and you see it's harder to push in and it springs itself back out. So it's got a lot more pressure and, well, it works. So we're now going to go ahead and fit this new master cylinder in my car. We can put volume in now. Still recording, that's good. Nice. There's not really much else apart from no, there's not much left to record from this point of view. Now that's in and secure and hooked up on the inside of the car. And I've now cleaned out the top there, and I'm now going to do a clutch bleed. I just finished bleeding the clutch with my dad. So now we do have a clutch brake pedal, a clutch pedal, sorry. So we now have a clutch pedal that works and that returns back by itself, and you can feel the pressure behind the clutch, which is all good. And then I'll take you around to show you the setup. Here's my little setup for the bleed in the clutch. There's the slave cylinder and the bleed nipple. And then there's the tube going into this bottle which has brake fluid inside it. And then we just kept this container full of fresh brake fluid, which we've now got. So yeah, there we go. That is the clutch pedal now all done. and we can now install the radiator. So here's the radiator. Well, now we're going to fit it in. There we go. You guys can't really see much now, so. So I've just gone and cleaned these up, and we're going to fit them now to the car, just there and there, and bolt them down, and yeah, it'll be good. Solid. Solid, bro. I ain't going nowhere. Let's go. So that's the top done there, all hooked up. Everything's fastened down. Yeah, now I'm going to show you what I've done underneath the car. So here you can see the radiator mounts there, and then that's the box that I put on before the radiator. Then over this side you can see the other radiator mount there, and you can see I've plugged in this plug for, I'm not actually sure what that's for, some coolant sensor thing. And then I've hooked up this pipe again. So yeah, everything's all good now. So it should be ready to put in some fresh coolant in now.